After Party on the Power Trip Podcast Network.
And here we go. It is the 21st day of May, and it is 9 a.m., and it is the After Party Podcast.
Hi, Hogs.
Hi, buddy boy. Available everywhere.
Paul, are you excited to finish second in initials tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right on, dude. Good for you.
Yeah.
Tomorrow might be your day, bitch.
I don't know. That's just my lot in life.
What is it? The last 7 weeks, I think it's either AJ or Hawk the entire time. I think it's 7 straight weeks.
And I bet I finished second in all of them.
And almost all of them.
I bet I have, yeah.
Cray.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I look forward to it. I'll give it my best effort, and we'll see where it goes.
Oh, that sounds great.
Fuck you.
Okay.
That's not very nice,
I don't know
dude.
why you went there with me.
You suck.
Yeah, why?
Jeez.
Thank you, Zach.
Peanut gallery over
Zach's
there.
got me over there. You got my back. And that Artie guy was fun, man. That was a cool.
Yeah, that was a great
really
interview,
cool.
yeah.
I really badly wanted to ask him,
Yeah.
but you can't, I mean, maybe I would have if it were a podcast and we had more time. I might have even come back around to it.
Given the option to edit it out.
Yeah, of course. But he talked about seeing Ryan Newman in the car and he wasn't moving. He won an Emmy for the 2001 NASCAR race that Dale Sr. died in. Mm-hmm. And they had cameras in that car as well. Mm. And, the rumor has always been that it basically removed the bottom half of his face when he went into the steering wheel. I'm going to guess he's probably never talked to anybody about it. That's kind of the thing surrounding it, like Michael Waltrip, Kenny Schrader. It's one of the things about Kenny Schrader is he's never told anybody what he saw when he looked in the car. But when the video is famous when he looks in the car and then he immediately starts waving people over to come help because of what he saw inside the car. He's never told anybody what he saw. I can't imagine what those cameras inside that car saw.
You may have said it. Not that it's anybody's fault, because that's what they sign up for. Mm-hmm. Who ran him into the wall?
Well, he was blocking. Sterling Marlin's the guy that got him. And then the car went up and ran into Kenny Schrader, and Kenny was the car that pushed him around. That's why Kenny was the first on the scene. But he was blocking so that either Michael or Dale Jr. could win. I mean, it's just part of restricted plate racing, and it caught the it would have been the left front quarter panel of Sterling Marlin's car, and it sent him up into the wall. And Sterling got a lot of hate mail. I mean, a lot. You remember that in that part of that documentary how Sterling was getting death threats from people and stuff like that. But
does Sterling talk about it?
I've never heard him talk about it.
I haven't heard Sterling. I know Schrader's talked about it because he got some threats. But it actually took Dale Jr. basically saying, guys, we're not holding him accountable. Right. It's shit happens.
Yeah, man. That's something else.
I think the thing that I remember about that race and that accident itself was how sort of innocent the crash was.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. You wouldn't think that the way he slid up into that corner and hit the wall that he would have died from that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we know there was less restrictions inside the cockpit and all that stuff. But we see crashes way worse than that, and guys just like walk away.
Yeah.
And he died.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the crazy part.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a million reasons. Obviously, he didn't have a full face helmet on. He didn't have his shoulder straps tightened at all. And he went face first into the steering wheel. But, again, a lot of things have changed because of that crash. So.
That's depressing. Why did you bring that up?
I don't know, man. That guy's great, though, man. What a cool thing, man. Did you, when I asked him that question about what makes, what makes those guys good, is that stuff that you had thought about before? Or is that stuff he brought up to you before?
It's stuff that I've heard before.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's probably like a lot of things. It's way easier to say than do.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And so like, it would be great if I could just take that piece of advice and go right into the booth and be like, yeah, this is exactly what he's talking about. I think it takes a while to kind of find that. Like, you think that you're being a good listener, but are you being a good listener? You think that you're being observational, but can you do more? And there's always that, you're always kind of pushing what that looks like. And so, if I start at 0 or negative, like how long does it take to get to the point where he's talking about where like, okay, now it's, and not only that is like, is it entertaining?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Because I think that's the hardest part about all of it is you're just trying to figure out what to say and what is interesting. And then you got to say it in a way that's concise and entertaining. You could say that. It's like any comedian.
Yeah.
Mary Mack could on paper, I could say the same thing that she says.
Yeah.
But she delivers it in a different way.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
then how do you? And then doing what I do, it's like, well, you may get people that tweet at you and say that you're wildly annoying, and then you get other people saying like, I love your commentary. And you're like, I don't know how to judge. Like, which do I do more of this? Do I do less of that? I don't know.
That's why you just got to be genuine, right?
That's why you just got to be yourself, and you got to be comfortable being yourself, and you just like, okay, well, I know that it's not going to appeal to everybody. Like, listen, Tony Romo is widely loved, but also widely hated.
Sure,
but
he's himself.
But he's himself.
But the reason why I think he works, and I know Artie brought up Artie or Arnie?
Artie
with a T, right? That's what I thought it was. I wasn't sure. He brought up John Madden as well. Like, I don't think anyone's going to accuse John Madden of being the greatest X's and O's color guy of all time. He was just awesome. And Romo is super entertaining, but he's super different than everybody else. And I love that because there shouldn't be one way to do it. And same thing with radio. You can do dick jokes and be successful. You don't have to do it like everybody else does it. And I don't think any show is like ours for better or for worse, right? Like, I don't know. There's just no formula for broadcasting. So, but I wonder, like a guy like if Artie like sat down and watched your first ever tape, not even in the room with you, just threw on a game and Ben Lieber's doing color commentary. I wonder how quickly a guy that's been doing it that long knows if you have a shot. Like if this guy instantly just goes, "Oh boy, this guy's got no future," or conversely, like he's got something, or I can work with this. I wonder if it's a one broadcast feel before he knows somebody has a chance to have a 20-year career. I'm sure that there's snap
judgments made like that all the time. I mean, I think we all sort of do it in our own professions. Like I'll watch game film of a guy. Like when I'm doing my little YouTube breakdowns and stuff, I'll watch a few snaps, and it's hard not to be like, ugh, or ooh, gosh, I really like that, or like, oh, what the hell? And it's like you watch a couple plays and like either I get it or I don't get it, and then you just sort of like keep watching and you let the narrative play out like what you think of the player. But I think it's hard not to make that judgment, So I'm sure that he's listening to me. Maybe the first time he was like, oh boy, not sure why he's on our team.
Oh, I doubt that.
But it is interesting, and I think that a lot of this dialogue happens in our Fox meetings at the end of July, where we all sort of talk about these things and everybody kind of gives their input, and it's weird because you get so many different varieties on how people approach it. But at the end of the day, it's what wins is entertainment. You can be classically trained, and you've got some broadcasters that went to school for it and they have degrees in it, and they're very polished and they're very and it's hard to say you're not doing it right, even though that's the way they've been trained. But then you get the guys that are completely rogue, like Tony Romo, that didn't go to a formal schooling for it, and he's just shooting from the hip, and that would be like the new benchmark. Like, see, that's what entertain. That's what this is. And like, wait a minute, but I just went to school, and it's like they tell us to do this, and it's like it all sort of works. And I think, like Corey said, like as long as you're being yourself, if Romo was trying to be classically trained, he'd probably sound horrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, that wouldn't be.
But if Pat McAfee was trying to be classically trained, it'd sound horrible.
And think about the guy, and I'm not trying to rip on him, but I'm going to. The guy that we played the soundbite from that topless Jeep bit.
Sure.
He sounded like he thinks every news person is supposed to sound.
Yeah. Right.
So by definition, that guy is basically saying, I'm just going to be another face with the same bit. So how are you ever going to distinguish yourself if you do exactly what everybody else does? Hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm here on the beach reporting for this story. Dude, then
the roller coaster voice.
The second you say I want to raise, I'm going to say, I'll just replace you with somebody that does the exact same thing.
Right, yeah.
With that same cadence, same voice. You're just a clone.
Well, wasn't that the bit with Madden that, like, he only really watched the line of scrimmage?
Yeah.
Like, he just fucked the rest of it. I'm just going to watch.
He fucked the rest of them?
What's happening just on the line of scrimmage, and then whatever, he didn't really care.
Do your best Madden impression, Sauce.
I don't think I have
just
one.
Do your best one. Go.
You see here, you got this here, and then they run this play, and boom.
Frank Caliendo, everybody.
George W. Bush, everybody.
I'm not. Yeah. No, you're right. That's the way it was explained to me as well. Is that he only paid attention to the line of scrimmage, so he could tell you exactly what happened between the offense and defensive line. Anything that happened down the field, he had another guy that was in his ear, that was in the truck, that was watching that would tell him. This guy blew coverage or whatever, and sort of feed him some of the answers.
Wow.
If he didn't know it. Now, I think that it's not that black and white. I think that he probably saw some stuff, but he definitely had a support guy in the truck that would say like, check out the safety and blah, 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 blah. He was like, and then so he'd dial up the replay and he'd be kind of told like which safety, which number to watch.
Wow. Two things about what you were just saying. Is Artie at that meeting, the Fox meeting that you go to? Is he really?
Yeah. So I chuckled to myself because that when he talks about the bucket, he called, in the meetings, he called it a bucket of shit. And he stood up, and everybody respects him in the room because he's been doing it for a really long time. And he went on this kind of rant a couple years ago, and it was just basically telling everybody to stop worrying about their bucket of shit. And he's like, I know you guys all work hard, and you want to fill that fucking bucket of shit, and you just want to unload that bucket of shit on the TV, and and some people got kind of upset. They're like. They a little offended that he was kind of speaking it in like that in those terms because in a sense it's like it's not a bucket of shit, it's research, and I think he was sort of there must be some internal fighting that goes on between different crews, and I think he was trying to say like his crew they're not pressing to unload their bucket of shit. If you walk away from a production and you realize that you've got a whole bucket of shit that you've maybe spent 20 hours in the week pre-producing, building graphics for, and you don't get it in, you don't get it in.
Yeah.
Don't force it in. And I think that he was kind of taking some shots at other teams for like forcing things when they're not there.
Wow.
So it was that particular. I still remember walking out of that meeting, still learning like all the personalities and how everybody kind of like went together, and a lot of whispers and rumblings like, what the fuck is Artie doing? Like,
wow.
A little upset that Artie was that bold with his advice.
Wow. How often do you work with the same guy, the same host, the same...
Well, you'd like to work with... every year you'd like to be just paired up with one team.
But it's not like that, right?
And it's not like that. The A, B, and C crews, those are all, where the level that I'm at, you kind of float around a little bit, and you're like, okay, you might be working with the Seattle Mariners play-by-play guy. He's going to jump on this week, and then you're not going to work with Aaron this week. You're going to work with another guy this week, and so it's like you do bounce around a little bit, and it's kind of it does kind of suck because you get on site on Thursday night and you have Friday meetings, and then you do the Saturday games, and that's the only time you get to know their personality, and you're like. Go have fun, boys. Keep it natural. And you're like, I barely know this guy.
How many times have you walked out of a booth and gone, I wasn't as good as I could have been today because of that guy?
A few times.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
More than a few times.
Oh, that sucks.
More than a few times. And you know that you're being evaluated because of your performance, and it's hard to watch and, again, listen to this guy that you're supposed to be a partner with and have a natural chemistry with when you just don't. Last year, I won't say his name.
No, sure.
We just did not vibe at all. And I did not look forward to doing games with him.
That's the worst.
Yeah, that's got to be horse shit.
How long, and you're really, really good at this, man, doing the sideline stuff. I'm sure you're really good at it in the booth as well. But how long did it take you to get comfortable with the clock inside your head counting down when you've got more to get to? Because one of the things you're really good at is when I say in your ear or when you see the snap is about to happen. Let's say you brought it back from break and you're trying to get your point made.
Yeah.
But you see the snap's about to happen. The automatic urge is to speed up what you're saying. And if you do that, you're probably going to screw up what you were saying. It's going to sound bad.
Oh, boy.
How long did it take
you
to
say that,
relax?
I feel like that's the worst part that's the weakest part of my job. On the sidelines is getting the timing down, not being too wordy, and not trying to speed up the cadence. I feel like I fuck it up all the time. I don't know. So I guess saying it like that, I don't know if I don't think I've even like gotten it down. It's just man. Like every week is different, and every week is like. And I know that there's issues like with the red hat, or we have more time or we have less time, and then it's then you can sometimes feel the urgency that PA wants. So you kind of feel that too. Like, okay, I got to get in and out because PA wants to get to something. So, I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like that's the hardest part and the worst. I guess the part of my job that I don't do very well.
But that is going back to the 20 hours of bucket of shit or whatever. that's where a broadcast in your spot is just improv, right? But the more researched you are, the more relaxed you probably should be.
Yeah, that's it.
I can be natural because I have 50 bullets to fire if I have to.
Yep.
So I think it's just a confidence thing, right? You're never going to feel overwhelmed if you're overly prepared.
Yeah, and that's where in my, especially with college football, it's taken me a while, and I'm still not there yet, but there's so much to know, right? Because there's so many different teams, and every team turns over every 3 or 4 years. And so you're getting to know different players and all that stuff. So it's like everything. Like I think preparation is the key to success for any business that you're in. Like you can't fire bullets unless you're confident that you know what bullets to fire and when to fire them. And, I will have on my prep sheet on my game board, hours and hours of information. But if, let's say on the easiest, like the easiest stat, like a guy is 40, if there's not there's no reason to bring up a guy's 40 unless it's applicable to the play that you're watching. Right. If he just ran a 5-yard play, you're not going to be like, oh, that's why you see that 4.2 speed. You're like, no, you don't say it then. You say it when he's breaking away on a touchdown run. So you take that little nugget and you just stash it away. You put it on your list and you're like, okay. And then you do that all the way down the line. Getting to know these guys personally, family history, whatever. You don't need to say that his sister died in a car accident or he's a double major and he's getting his PhD unless like if it's the quarterback and all of a sudden like he's diagnosing all these plays and then you save that for the third and fourth quarter, be like, look how smart he is on the football field, and it also applies to him in the classroom. You can add that nugget without using it in the first quarter and be like, I got to get it out because I did the research and I figured that out and I read that article from 4 years ago. So you just, I don't know, you filter information, you just try to feel like where it fits and, it's an ever-going process.
What a catch by Zach Halverson. That'll extend the drive. 1st and 10. By the way, Zach Halverson's sister died in a car crash in 1976.
I know. It sounds like
right.
Lily.
Yeah. Game-winning touchdowns. By the way, the quarterback killed 2 people.
I going back to what we were saying, I couldn't disagree more. I think you're great at that. That's why I have you bring out a break as much as I do, because I think you're great at it, number one. And not just to kiss your ass, but it's true. But something that he said in that interview that I got to be better at, and I think I'm better at now than I was when I started 10 years ago, obviously, is forgetting the mistake you just made.
Oh, yeah.
And that's so hard, dude.
It's so hard.
That's so hard. And it's so hard to be, I'm going to be honest with you guys, because it's not always easy to forget the mistake you made when the guy in front of you is reminding you with the eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's something that I found when I forgave myself for my mistakes, because there's so much shit going on.
Yeah.
If you can't forget about what you did 10 minutes ago, you're not going to do it well.
That's life.
That's
too,
hard.
Dude.
Yeah, that's the snowball effect.
In poker, we call that tilt. That you're on tilt. That all of us, that if you are letting past hands impact your future decisions, you are fucked.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been talking about that with coronavirus for the last 3 months, right? Like only control what you can control.
Yeah.
And if you made a mistake in quarter 1, it should not affect your decisions in quarters 3 and 4. I'm telling you, that is maybe the number one poker skill.
No kidding.
Forgetting a past mistake. If it's a luck thing, right? If it's like, hey, I got really unlucky on that hand, and that was a huge pot. Man, if I would have won that hand, I would have had this many chips. Well, big frickin' deal. That hand's over. Like you can't go back and change that card, or can't change your call or your fold, whatever. You have to move on. And the best players in the world don't go on tilt.
Learn from it and forgive yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to add.
You got to move on.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we forget in the grand, because we've all heard the same thing. Like, if you make a mistake, fine, just move on. Don't let it affect. But it's not just fine, move on. It's what did you learn from it so you don't fucking do it again. And in a situation like poker or something like that, or even what we're talking about with football, in poker, like you can make a mistake, but that next hand's coming within 30 seconds. That next hand's being dealt out. So how quickly can you process what mistake did I make and and why? If you can figure out the why in that 30 seconds, you're not going to make a mistake in the second or third hand. Same thing with like what you and I do, what we're talking about. If I make a mistake on a telestration and I'm doing a replay, fucking burns me. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I drew another dick. Damn it. God damn it. Those are
I've
giant
been
balls.
I've been close. I'm not kidding you.
Really?
I've been close to like making a couple circles and then like a
and
line.
then one line,
Yeah.
you're like,
yeah. I'm like, whoa.
That's a penis.
Yeah.
So this guy goes straight, and the other guy, well, you know where the other guy is.
The other guy runs a circular route at top.
Yeah. So,
Like a 2-inch circumference.
Yeah.
so I've had to learn to quickly, in that sense, be like, God damn it, I fucked up, and like you can't obviously have that frustration out loud, but you do it in your head, and then like, well, how did I fuck that up? And if I can fix that in that moment, then I'm confident I'm not going to make the mistake again. Now, if I can't identify, like, how did I fuck that up? Like, what did I do wrong? Most likely I'm going to fuck it up again, and then maybe I'll learn the second time.
Yeah.
But like, you got to figure out what went wrong, how it went wrong, what you were doing at that moment, and then you can truly move on. But it's a skill. It's a skill that has to be like honed.
Here's an under realized aspect of what you do as well. And I'm not a victim of this as much because I'm off of the radio. I'm not performing, in a way that people can see it. But what we're asking, what you're asking Ben and PA and Pete and anybody who does this for the NFL, for college football, whatever, once a week when you wake up on Sunday morning, you got to be in a good mood.
Oh, yeah.
You got to have gotten great sleep. And sometimes you just don't. And you wake up in the morning and you got one chance this week to deliver the Vikings broadcast to hundreds of thousands of people, and you woke up feeling like dog shit.
Yeah.
And you maybe feel fine, but you just know you're not all the way there.
Yeah, sometimes you just got like brain fog, and you just like, what is the deal? Like, maybe I need a fucking third or fourth cup of coffee. Like, what is going like?
You had a long week.
That's the worst.
Week. You have an argument with your wife the night before or whatever. You don't get very good sleep. Like, it's all that, which is why we make fun of it.
Yeah.
But the guys that, basketball, like baseball players, when they have to do it every day, that's why they're so regimented.
Yeah.
Well, dude, how about musicians?
Yeah.
To your point, Ben's doing sideline stuff once a week. How about on a tour, if I go see a band and some fucking guy didn't get enough sleep or he was up banging chicks till 5 a.m. and the show sucked?
Yeah.
That's your one impression.
I don't get to see the whole tour. I saw a band mailing in. I'm like, what? These guys suck. Or again, I always say that that show with Linkin Park and Hoobastank and POD in Story of the Year. POD sucked that show. Sucked. They were easily the worst of the four. Sound was bad. They had no vibe, no energy. Maybe they kick ass.
Yeah,
but the one time I saw them, they had nothing for us.
And you'll never see them again.
And I'll never forget. I'm not going to go see POD again. They
you wouldn't go out of your way.
The rest of that tour may have kicked ass.
Yeah.
Right. They may,
But the one show at the X was just so off. And for whatever reason, it's going to rub me the wrong way forever.
Which makes, I think, what happens in football that much more magnetized, because you only have in the NFL 16 games to prove it, and the people that work those games only have 16 games to prove it.
Yep.
Baseball players, you could have a bad week, and it's like, okay, I had a bad week.
Yeah.
I had a poor performance. I'm 0 for 14. It's all right. I'll get out of
Sure.
it.
yeah.
You have a two bad games in the NFL, two bad successive weeks. Then it's like, oh shit! Like, can you even do this?
Hey, let's
you
flip
can't get
it though.
in a rut.
Let's flip it though, because I've heard John Oliver talk a lot about this. That John Oliver's winning Emmys because he's got this awesome staff and they just crush. And once a week, they almost always knock it right out of the park, right? But he's even admitted he has a lot of respect for Colbert, Kimmel, Fallon.
Every
He's
day.
like, you guys have to do this every night. He's like, I got a research team that gets to do it and go crazy. And some of these shows are weeks ahead, right? They're researching something for 6 weeks ahead because that's how deep they go on these dives. So he's like, yeah, I get to fire only once a week, but I get a lot of advantages that you don't. You guys have to fire nightly. If you got nothing, you're fucked.
You're fucked.
If I don't have anything on a Tuesday, I still got 4 more days to figure this crap out. So that goes both ways. The NFL, you have fewer opportunities, but you got a lot of preparation, which means if you do miss from a broadcast or a playing perspective, you guys have talked about that a lot. That's why NFL teams give you like 48 hours to sulk, right? But by like Tuesday, you better snap out of it.
You got to move on.
We're moving on, right?
Yeah,
like
you're moving
24 or 48 hours, you have to snap out of it.
Which to me personally is a great life lesson.
100%.
And I've already told my kids, like, in even a smaller sense, they fall off a bike and they're scraped, I will give them 10 minutes to sulk. I don't care.
Right.
Like, obviously, if it's just a scrape and it's just bloody and whatever, I mean, obviously no structural damage or something like that, they break a bone. But I'm like, you can cry on my shoulder for 10 minutes. After that, I don't care.
Yeah, you're exactly. Get up and keep your day going.
Go.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so deal with it at that point. And in larger sense, I will when it comes to sports and all that stuff, I will do the same thing with them. Like, you have the rest of tonight to sleep on it. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you better get it out of your system. Yep. You better have thought about what you did right and you did wrong, and you better move on, because life is not going to wait for you to fucking feel bad for yourself.
And nobody wants to be around that person either.
No.
Right. I couldn't agree more. I don't know, man. That's fun.
Yeah.
What a fun bit. I would love to just sit in the truck with that guy and watch him one time. I can't even imagine the ADD you have to do that job.
Yeah.
You have to be a person born with ADD to do that job.
That's going to be tough. Well, yeah, that'd be tough. I wonder if there'd be one home game that when Fox is doing a game, because Artie comes here quite a bit.
Right.
And you're not, and it's Abbott.
Abbott would, right, let me go down and watch it.
He would absolutely let you slide in the truck. It is fascinating.
I would love it, dude.
That'd be sweet to see.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much, because as he was mentioning when we were talking about the color commentator, the people you have to listen. He not only let's talk about NASCAR for a moment. He's got all these. Zach and he was naming off the different cameras he has on his screen for a NASCAR race.
Oh yeah,
probably 25, maybe, I don't know.
More than that.
More than that, okay? Let's just say it is 25, though. But he's watching all those cameras, but he's also got to watch the race. You got to also keep an eye on actually what's happening in the race.
Well, more importantly,
to follow the story.
More importantly, he's got to listen to Jeff
Right.
Gordon. Like, so if Jeff says, Elliott Sadler or somebody, and he references somebody, you got to cut to that. You got to find that. You got to find that car and cut to it right away to make it sync up. Now, Jeff could do a good job in his talkback and say, "Hey, I'm going to talk about so and so,"
sure,
and give him a heads up. But that doesn't always happen. And then he's also with NASCAR. You have to listen to the car audio as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he does.
That's
it.
unbelievable.
That's great,
guys. I got to
orchestra.
run.
Bye, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. See you next Thursday.
Have a great
Bye.
weekend.
Bye.
See ya. Yeah, that's plenty. We talked for 26 minutes.
Shit, girl.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, hold on. Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're still recording.
Corey, do you know what debuted this day in 1992?
Your pussy.
That was 83.
That was 2014.
It was almost like a penis. This day in 1992, TV show or movie or what?
TV show.
A TV show that debuted in 1992.
Saved by the Bell?
I would have guessed Saved by the Bell was before that a little bit.
It probably was.
That's a good guess, though. I mean, that's really close. Give me a hint. Comedy, animated show. What are we talking here?
Not a comedy.
Not
a comedy. Not an animated show.
Beverly Hills 90210?
No.
A teen show?
Yeah. Not a teen. An adult, early 20s show.
Married with Children.
American Gladiators? Oh, The Real World. You just showed me the tweet.
Yeah, The Real World.
Real World.
Oh, shit. 1992. Yeah, that sounds right.
New York?
Because I completely missed it. I wasn't.
It was freaking great.
I didn't
man.
watch it at all.
I watched it for years and years and years. I watched at least like the first 8 or 10 seasons.
I was 21, man. And then right after that, I went to California. I don't think I had a TV.
Sauce, pull it up. Pull up the list. Let's see if I can go through. I think we've done this before, but let's see how many I can go through without fucking this up.
Real?
I'm super confident on the first 4. Then I think I'm going to have to get a little bit lucky after that. No, I think I know number 5, too. Tell me when you're ready.
Okay.
You okay?
It's close. I'm just trying to rack my
All
brain.
right, I got it.
Okay, 1 is definitely New York.
Yep.
2 was L.A.
Yep.
3 was Puck and Pedro in San Francisco.
Yep.
4 was when they went to London.
That is correct.
That was hot-ass Jacinda who was in here.
Yeah. She was great.
She was great. So she was in season 4. I think 5... Ooh, see, I think 5 was Miami.
That's correct.
6 was Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Either 7 or 8 was Seattle. I think 7 was Seattle.
That's correct.
Oof. Okay, I got lucky. When did they go to Vegas? I don't remember if Hawaii or Vegas was next. It's one of the two, though. Am I right?
It's one of them, yeah.
What was first? I think I'm going to go Hawaii was
That's
first.
correct.
Then Vegas was next?
Nope.
Was Vegas 10?
Vegas was 12.
12? Hang on. What am I forgetting then?
The city we always talk about.
City of Compton.
The city I always talk about in terms of real world?
Yeah. No, in terms of where you like going.
Oh, Denver.
New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans. Yeah. Fuck. With
Ruth? No.
No, Ruthie was Hawaii.
Yeah. David Broom, Melissa Howard, Danny Roberts.
Oh.
Donnie.
Tits Titterson.
Oh, Tits Titterson. So and then 10 was back to New York, right?
Correct. Yep.
And by the way, Hawk, I don't know if you knew this. You know who was in season 10 of Real World?
No clue. No.
You watch wrestling at all?
I did.
So think about this though. This is genius. So
wait a minute.
The Miz. You know who the Miz is at all? Zach, you know who the Miz is, right?
Of course. Yeah, he dated him.
So the Miz was just this guy Mike on the Real World season 10 when the first time they went back to New York. And he talked about all he wanted. He had a character on the show called The Miz, and all he wanted to do was be a professional wrestler.
Really? And
he was a nobody. He wasn't like, at the time, I don't even think he was training to be a wrestler. He was just like a kid that was like, I want to be a wrestler so bad. So he would kind of jokingly get shit-faced on the show and be like, oh, Mike's gone, now I'm The Miz. And he would like turn into his character, and now he's one of the biggest wrestlers in the world. Right?
No
like
kidding.
The Miz is a huge deal.
How about this?
And he was a Real World season 10 guy who was kind of douchey because the character drove you nuts because you're like, we get it, dude. You got an alter ego.
Doesn't The Miz sound like somebody that like is in Tommy's Friends group?
Yeah,
though?
Right.
Of course.
Yeah, Miz and
his last name
Tree.
is like
Tree.
His last name is like
Beezer.
Mizraki or something. I forget what his last name is, but it was almost like that's going to be your wrestling name. That's a horrible.
And now he's a huge
the Miz.
deal.
And now he is the Miz.
Do you know who was in?
He's made tons of money.
Do you know who was in fucking season 11
No.
Give me a hint.
in Chicago? Do you know who was in it?
Who?
Oh yeah, Kyle Brandt from NFL Network.
I didn't know that.
You know what's crazy? I recognize his face every time I watch NFL Network. I'm like, where the fuck do I know this guy from? I would have never remembered that.
Quick question for you.
Crazy.
When was the greatest season of Real World? It was 2004.
Oh, San Diego, yeah.
Fuck.
With fucking Cameron. God,
Yeah.
and I know you
Cameron.
love Brad. Cameron from Southern
Brad
Charm.
fucks.
But Cameron's about the hottest thing that's ever been on that show.
Yeah.
God, is she hot. Hot as a 21-year-old. Smoking
She's
hot as a
smoking hot.
40-year-old.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Really?
She's 40, just a goddamn 10 and a half.
No idea.
She's like legitimately one of those gals that is arguably better in her late 30s than she was at 22.
No kidding.
Because her face is more like defined now, because she's like, I don't know, she's in better shape now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
She's just
for
a
sure.
smoke show.
Wow.
She was clearly in good shape at 21 or 22, but I doubt she was exercising. She was just naturally hot.
That's just 21. You don't exercise when you're 21.
Now it's like exercise and diet, and she's just super, super fit.
Yeah,
and
she's
just
really
pretty.
When you're 21, you go play.
Yeah, because you're just hot
When
and you
you're
don't
41,
give a
you
shit.
got to
Yeah.
fucking exercise.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't get to talk about this on the show today because we had so much stuff, but more Michael Bateman.
Jason Bateman?
Michael Bateman.
Michael Bluth, Jason Bateman.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
combo.
Yeah.
More Jason Bateman that I love. Stephen King's got a book called The Outsider. They made a series on HBO, and he's the star and the director.
Yeah. Our good friend Nick Swartzen says it's one of the best things he's ever seen.
I watched the first episode
Yeah,
last
he
night.
said
This
it's
guy continues to be fucking great
He said it's
at
unfucking
everything.
believable.
Bateman's great.
Yeah,
He's
Bateman's
great.
amazing. Yeah.
And there's an actor who's like a character actor who's like the main character, like the police officer. The first episode, the acting, unbelievably good.
So is that Ben Mendelsohn?
I don't know. Let me look.
Is it the guy?
Gray-haired guy?
Was it one of the 2 or 3 leads from Bloodline? Did you ever watch Bloodline on
Never did, huh?
No.
I think that's the same guy, and I think his name's Ben something.
Is that the show we did ads for?
Dover?
Hawk?
No, that was
is
something
that?
Island.
Dover?
No, it's not Ben Dover.
Oh, you got it.
I once wrote that on a paper I turned in. I got in huge fucking trouble.
What'd you say his name was?
Ben something? Is it Ben like Mendelsohn?
Is so
Ben
brilliant.
Mendelsohn.
Is that his name?
Yeah, that's him.
So he was in
No shit.
he was in Bloodline, and he was one of the better parts of that show.
Yeah,
and that
this
show,
guy here.
Yeah, he's a really good actor.
Fuck, was he good in the first
That's
episode?
why Bloodline.
So it's worth watching.
Oh, my
HBO
God.
or Showtime?
HBO.
All right, I'll give it a
Bloodline
whirl
is
today.
way too long, and I checked out because it got repetitive. And again, it was one of those shows that was 13 episodes and should have been 8, kind of a thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But his character kind of fucking drives you nuts, and it's not because the character's bad. His acting is so good that you kind of hate him. You're like, God, you're such a fuck up. Just shut up. Like, he just can't stay out of his own way.
Right.
but he pisses you off, but not because of the actor, just because the character is so well acted.
Right.
That it annoys you, which is always the sign that you're doing something right.
Yeah, I got to tell you,
that dude can act, man.
He's real, and again, you've seen his face a million times,
right?
And I just realized that he was in Ready Player One, which I'm sure you guys never saw.
Didn't see it.
Is a good. He's the bad guy in Ready Player One.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The guy who
he was a bad guy in Star Wars too. By the way,
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
He was.
That's right. He was in Star Wars.
He's Senator Palpatine.
Was he in Rogue One?
Yeah. I think
he was in Rogue One.
Rogue One. That's right. Orson Krennic.
Yeah, he's
what else is
basically
the
main bad guy until Vader shows up.
I'm trying to see if there's anything that we've talked. He was Daggett in Dark Knight Rises.
Daggett, damn near killed it.
Yeah. That's him. He's on
the plane with.
He's
Bane?
on the plane, I think.
I don't know.
Your shitty is corrupt.
God, that's a fucking great film.
My shitty is what?
Your shitty is abrupt.
I'm sorry, Bane, but I don't know what you're saying.
Your shitty is abrupt.
Have you ever seen speaking, because we talked about it a lot today, have you ever seen the South Park episode where they think that their wives are banging the UPS guy, so they abduct the UPS guy and they all wear Bane masks?
Yeah. All right, that's more than enough for the day.
We learned a lot, kids.
36 minutes. Holy shit.
Suck Grimm.
And by the way,
suck Mike Grimm right now?
He's going to join us.
Gopher season.
No, not Grimm. Gorg is going to be our regular Monday guest, by the way, if you guys are okay with it.
He ain't got shit to do until the quarantine.
6:20 on Monday mornings. Why not? I love that fucking guy.
I like how we are basically adopting Fox Sports North
that are
unemployed homeless people. Marty and Kevin Gorg are like, I'm for the poor, please.
Can I have another?
That'd be a good time for Fox Sports North to adopt us, huh?
Yeah, maybe. Good point.
No kidding.
Oh, speaking of homeless people.
Oh, boy.
Oh, here we go.
There's been a guy in Plymouth for, I think, the last 6 years on one of the off-ramps saying he's got a sign that just says cancer and homeless. And I'm thinking to myself, I've seen you use this sign for 6 years.
Yeah, right.
This is either the mildest form of cancer of all time.
Right.
Or it's not anyone's concern because clearly you're doing just fine. You still have the same sign.
Yeah, you might want to change that up.
Yeah.
Right.
Where
I completely forgot to tell you guys this, by the way. Speaking of homeless guys, this is not going to work at all. But I got to tell you, because I swear to God on my life what I'm saying is true. When I was in Winona, out on my hike, I walked by a homeless dude. I would have, if you had told me, he looked so much like Mike Zimmer in a wheelchair. He looked so much like Mike Zimmer. If Mike Zimmer had stood up and gone, "Hey Hawk, it's me," I wouldn't have been surprised. That's how much he looked like him. I did a double take, and I was like, "Is this Zimmer's thing?"
Yeah, he's just.
What if we find out
his alter ego?
What if we find out he's method acting and he's like the next Charles Xavier in X-Men
He's
United?
Andy Kaufman.
How do I blow off steam?
Hawk,
well, interesting that you ask.
Hawk, it's the Zim.
Yeah. He looked just like him, and he kind of smiled at me. I gave him a $5 bill, and he kind of smiled at me. I'm like, is that fucking Zimmer? Is this how he blows off steam? I just go to random small towns and act like I'm homeless?
Brilliant.
Jesus.
What if he's got a twin brother?
I swear to God he looked just like him.
You have to, Now, don't tell PA that, or PA is going to make you tell him that story in front of him.
Right.
What if you, with a straight face, the next time you saw Zimmer, just go, I know this is going to be weird, but do you have a homeless, paralyzed twin brother?
Or you just walk in and you go, I get you.
Yeah. You've seen Mick?
Yeah.
How's Winona?
Yeah. Hey, what'd you do with that $5 I gave you?
All right. Bye, everybody.